So, with the Raiders holding the number 6 overall pick in this upcoming draft, there's a lot of speculation on who they may take. Obviously, there's a lot of buzz of Shedeur Sanders potentially going there. But recently, the Raiders GM had this to say: "My oldest son has made it no secret that if we don't pick Ashton Jeanty at 6, that he's walking out of the family and he's going to find somebody else. He walked right into our building and basically told Mark Davis, if my dad doesn't take Ashton Jeanty, he's doing a bad job." Now, this just makes me think of last year's Hard Knocks in the offseason of the Giants GM Joe, and when he had his family in his office, and that viral clip of his kids essentially being more logical about Saquon Barkley and who to draft over him. So this got me thinking of Ashton actually going to the Raiders, because a few weeks ago there was some buzz of potentially the Bears being interested in Jeanty. I never really linked the Raiders and Ashton together just because there's been so much hype of Shedeur Sanders going to the Raiders. But man, oh man, this move makes a ton of sense. And overall, whoever gets this guy is probably going to get a pretty electric RB. So wherever he goes, it's going to be pretty fascinating to see what he does in his rookie year. I don't think he's on that Saquon Barkley type of prospect level, but I'd say he's like a hair or two under him. His most common player comp is Marshawn Lynch, so that's definitely a huge compliment. And even if you just watch him play, man, the dude just knows how to break tackles. And obviously the Raiders organization is quite familiar with Marshawn. He once played there once he was done with the Seahawks, and he grew up in California. He's always been a Raiders fan. And plus, Pete Carroll, there's a connection there as well. You know, Pete Carroll's opening press conference, Marshawn Lynch was there. Pete Carroll was there when they drafted Marshawn Lynch. So I feel like if it's not Shedeur Sanders, it could be Ashton. And Raiders fans, talk to me. Do you love this move? Do you not? Or would you rather Shedeur Sanders? Let me know in the comments below. I'm the Raiders GM Spy Tech. I probably go with Ashton here, just because it seems like more of a surefire thing. Shedeur, I don't know how you may feel about him. I feel like everyone kind of has a different opinion about him. To me, he's more of a project type quarterback. And I feel like the hiring of Pete Carroll and trading for Geno Smith, the Raiders are trying to get back to being a relevant franchise as soon as possible. And Ashton can help you win right when he gets into the building. So I just feel like it fits their timeline a lot more. Not to say Shedeur Sanders would be a bad pick. I do sort of like it, although I would prefer Shedeur to go to a more competitive team right now. For an example, if somehow, some way, the Rams or some team like the Dolphins can draft Shedeur, I would love that move the most for him. I just think it would make a lot of sense, because I really think he needs to redshirt at least 1 year, at least one full year in the NFL. So yeah, man. Other Raiders news, apparently they are working on an extension with Geno Smith as we speak. So I don't know about that move, honestly. I understand that they kind of want to lock him up, but I would just rather see what he's like in his first year with the Raiders before committing to him for another 2 or 3 years. It just kind of reminds me of the Russell Wilson trade. Of course, the Seahawks traded him to Denver, and before Russell even took a snap with the Broncos, they signed him to a crazy, crazy deal, what really set the franchise back at least a year or two. So if I'm the Raiders, proceed with heavy caution. I just want to see Geno Smith at least play a few games before handing him like a 2-3 year extension. The dude has had one good year in the NFL. Every other year, pretty mediocre. a bottom 20 QB in the league. So, Raiders fans, let me know what you would do. Would you hand Geno Smith a contract extension right now, or would you want to wait? Let me know in the comments below. Also, over the past week, the Raiders signed Devin White, once a pretty elite linebacker, had a stint with the Eagles a year ago, I believe. Ultimately, he got cut. I just think they're acquiring him as a locker room guy. Plus, he's an ex-teammate of Tom Brady, so a bit of a connection there. I just think it's good when you're rebuilding a culture to have those veteran leaders that have been around the NFL for a while. So I do like this move, but don't expect him to be a starter or to be, to have like a career revival with the Raiders or anything like that. It's possible, but I wouldn't really expect that. Also, Hunter Renfrew just had a visit with the Raiders this past week. He actually stepped away from football this past year, but apparently there is some interest of him coming back to play for the Raiders. He's kind of had an interesting career. Started off really, really good with the Raiders, and then once Josh McDaniels got there, he was just in the doghouse. And then I believe he had like a 2-year stretch where he just didn't do anything. And then this past year, he wasn't even signed to a team. So who knows? Maybe Hunter can come back and be like his old self. Either way, the Raiders need a lot of help on offense as of right now. So I like that move. And I'm surprised the Raiders aren't interested in having a reunion with Amari Cooper. I think that move would make a lot of sense. I feel like they need as many weapons as they can get. Sure, they have great 2 tight ends, but I feel like to add another veteran wide receiver would be a pretty good help to that offense. Yeah, man, officially April 2nd right now. About 25 days, 24 days until the NFL draft. We're getting closer and closer. Let me know if you're hyped for it, or do you not care about the NFL draft? Let me know in the comments below. If you made it this far, please subscribe and like the vid. And how about your boy Ton? That's all I got for right now. Peace.
You have to like what this team has done today, passing the football. It's been their identity this season, and that continues here today.
Yeah, he's like, listen, this quarterback is a lot like a pitcher. Some days he'll beat you with the fastball. The next day it's the breaking ball, and that's what he can do too. He beats you with power or finesse. It doesn't matter.
Second down after the incompletion. If they're going to have any chance at all here late in the 4th, the defense must make a big stop and give the ball back to the offense.
Great situation to be in for the defense right here. It's 3rd and long, and even though their team is losing the game, you could get after the quarterback and hope you can find a way to force a turnover.
3rd down and 10. He's tackled beyond the markers. It's a 1st down. This has been a long drive so far. Leading and with possession of the football, a good place to be at this point in the game. This will be the offense's 12th play of the drive. Morris lined up as the single back. The Jets will take the snap from the 25. Marshall's got the catch on the touch throw.
Jim, the offensive coordinator's done a terrific job so far here today. He's got his team winning. They're in the red zone. Let's see how clever he's going to be on this call.
Just 2 minutes left in this one now. Back in a moment. We return out of the 2-minute warning. 4th quarter action. 1st and goal from the 6. That pass was hurried. What a drive this has been. Second and goal from the 6. Now on the move. Touchdown, New York Jets. An amazing 4th touchdown today. Bill, this team has played at such a high level for over 3 quarters. Jets offense is in rhythm. Coming back out for another drive. The last 2 times they've had it, they found the end zone.
Their rhythm, they're making it look easy, Jim. It's like watching you dance. You have such great rhythm. It looks like you're not even working at it. So that's how it looks for this offense here today.
Now moving the football to the 10-yard line. 2nd and goal from the 10. Gonna try and scramble now.
Jim, I love these situations.